Friends, we can all see that many white bloggers have millions of followers. Please support me too because my followers are still few. Black bloggers also deserve to be famous. My friends, let's unite and lift each other up. Please press subscribe button and like. The words sliced through the opulent ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton like a knife through silk. You don't belong here. The voice belonged to Veronica Sinclair, the billionaire's wife, draped in a striking red gown that clung to her curves like a second skin. Her laughter echoed, sharp and condescending, as she pointed a manicured finger at the woman in the orange gown seated quietly at a table adorned with crystal and gold. The woman in orange, Maya Thompson, remained composed, her posture regal, hair pulled back into a sleek bun. Her gown, a rich shade of burnt orange, flowed elegantly, contrasting with the ostentatiousness of the gala. She had been invisible until now, but the insult had ignited a spark in the room, drawing the attention of every guest. "Sweetheart, this is the front row of the gala, reserved for names that matter." "You must be lost," Veronica continued, her voice dripping with disdain. The jazz quartet faltered, the atmosphere thickening with tension. Guests exchanged glances, some smirking, others whispering, as the air crackled with unspoken judgments. Maya lifted her glass of champagne, the bubbles catching the light, and took a sip, as if the insult had not touched her. But the silence that followed was palpable, pressing down on the room like a weight. Veronica misread the quiet as weakness, her smile widening. "I've seen this before," she declared, her voice rising. Staff slipping into empty seats to taste luxury for a night. A gasp rippled through the crowd. Maya's calm demeanor unsettled more than any protest could. She set her glass down, hands folded neatly in her lap, her gaze fixed on the chandelier above, as if seeking strength from the light. The tension in the room thickened, and the young journalist in the corner, Alex, sensed a story unfolding. He discreetly activated his phone, whispering into the mic, "This might be bigger than it looks." Veronica leaned closer, her voice dripping with condescension. "Honestly, this is embarrassing for the hotel. Someone should have checked credentials. A seat like this isn't for..." She paused, her eyes scanning Maya's gown. "People like you." Gasps echoed, and the atmosphere shifted. The orange gown remained still, her silence a powerful statement. "Security!" Veronica called out, her voice slicing through the music. "Remove her before this turns into a circus." The hotel manager, a balding man with a nervous demeanor, approached, glancing between the two women. The spotlight of shame had been switched on, and every eye in the ballroom was on him. "Madam, may I see your invitation card?" he asked, his tone attempting neutrality but failing miserably. The accusation hung in the air. Maya didn't flinch. Instead, she placed her fingertips on the table card, her movement slow and deliberate, asserting her presence without uttering a word. "Don't waste your time," Veronica sneered. "I've seen her type at enough events. They dress up, slip past ushers, and sit where they don't belong." The crowd shifted uncomfortably, whispers of discontent rising. Maya's stillness was a defiance that echoed louder than any protest. "Why does she need to prove anything?" a voice called from the back. "She's seated. That's proof enough." The tide was turning. The manager hesitated, caught between the billionaire's wife and the growing support for Maya. "Calm doesn't equal credibility," he muttered, his voice cracking under pressure. "You have no seat here." The words landed like a hammer, and the crowd gasped collectively. Maya remained unyielding, her hands folded, eyes steady. Then, with a calmness that belied the chaos around her, Maya reached for her clutch and pulled out her phone. "Activate withdrawal protocol," she said, her voice cutting through the tension. The room froze, eyes darting between her and the manager. "Confirmed, ma'am." "Liquidating $4.1 billion from all Ritz-Carlton properties," came the voice on the other end. Gasps erupted, disbelief rippling through the crowd. The billionaire's wife's facade cracked, her confidence faltering as she realized the gravity of the situation. Maya stood, her presence commanding. "You thought I needed your approval to belong? You thought erasing my name from a card would erase me?" Her voice resonated, cutting through the murmurs. "I am the CEO who owns a controlling stake in these hotels. Every chandelier above your head, every glass in your hand, exists because I allow it. The room erupted in gasps, the journalist's voice trembling as he narrated live. This is history unfolding. The applause began hesitantly, then grew into a thunderous roar, drowning out Veronica's protests. You thought humiliation was power, Maya continued, her gaze unwavering. What you've just learned is that my silence is more expensive than your husband's empire. The applause swelled, a wave of support washing over her as the crowd rallied against the arrogance displayed by Veronica. The manager's face drained of color, realizing the magnitude of his mistake. You're dismissed, Maya declared, her voice steady. And as for you, she turned to the guards, you acted on arrogance, not evidence. Your badges are invalid. Security will escort you out. The guards stepped back, their confidence shattered. The billionaire's wife, once so powerful, now stood trembling, her laughter replaced by silence. You don't belong here, she stammered, but the crowd drowned her out with cheers of support for Maya as the applause echoed through the ballroom. Maya gathered her belongings, her presence still commanding. Remember this moment, she said, her voice cutting through the noise. Because silence was never weakness. It was power waiting for the right stage. But just as she reached the grand entrance, the atmosphere shifted again. The doors swung open, and a group of reporters flooded in, cameras flashing, eager to capture the aftermath of the confrontation. Maya paused, her heart racing, knowing that this moment would be broadcasted to millions. Ms. Thompson, one reporter shouted, pushing through the crowd. Can you confirm the rumors about your stake in the Ritz-Carlton? Maya turned, her expression calm yet fierce. What I can confirm is that dignity and respect are not for sale. They are earned. The crowd erupted in applause once more, and Maya felt a surge of empowerment. She had not only reclaimed her space but had also turned the narrative on its head. The billionaire's wife, now a mere shadow of her former self, stood frozen, her power stripped away. As the cameras continued to click, Maya took a deep breath, ready to embrace the moment. She had transformed from an invisible woman into a force to be reckoned with, and she was determined to make her voice heard. Suddenly, a voice rang out from the back of the room, cutting through the applause. What about the contracts? Will you be terminating them? It was Alex, the journalist, his eyes wide with anticipation. Maya smiled, her confidence radiating. Not just the contracts, she replied, her voice steady. I'm here to ensure that the culture of exclusion ends tonight. This isn't just about me, it's about everyone who has ever been made to feel less than. The crowd fell silent, hanging on her every word. I will be pulling my investments, and I will be advocating for a complete overhaul of the management here. No more discrimination, no more elitism. It's time for change. The applause erupted again, louder this time, as people began to rise from their seats, rallying behind her. Maya felt the energy shift, the collective power of the crowd fueling her resolve. Tonight marks a new beginning, she declared, her voice rising above the noise. A beginning where everyone belongs, regardless of their background or appearance. We will not be silenced. The room erupted into cheers, and Maya stood tall, a beacon of strength and determination. She had not only reclaimed her place but had also ignited a movement that would resonate far beyond the walls of the Ritz-Carlton. But just as the momentum reached its peak, Veronica, desperate and furious, stepped forward, her voice trembling with indignation. You think you can just walk in here and take everything from us? You're nothing without our approval. Maya turned to face her, the room falling silent once more. Approval? I don't need your approval. I've built my empire on hard work and resilience. You've built yours on exclusion and arrogance. The tension in the room was palpable, and Maya could feel the weight of every gaze upon her. She took a deep breath, ready to deliver the final blow. You've underestimated me, and you've underestimated the power of unity. This is not just my fight, it's ours. Do you want to know the fate of the heroes? Please post part 2. Subscribe to the channel and continue watching. Your opinion and support are important to me. Leave it in the comments. Thank you.